The blue and red lights danced across my cabin walls. I stood on the porch, watching two officers approach while a woman in a beige pantsuit, Linda Garrison, stood behind them, arms crossed triumphantly. "That's him, officers, the trespasser," she declared. "I am the HOA president of Pine Ridge Estates, and I know every single homeowner in this community." The lead officer approached cautiously. "Sir, we received a call about a burglary in progress. Can you please provide some identification?" I handed him my driver's license and the card tucked behind it. He examined the license, then paused at the second card. His eyes widened. He looked at me, then over his shoulder at the impatient woman. "Ma'am," he said slowly, turning to her. "Do you know who this is?" Her smug expression faltered. "I don't care who he claims to be. He's trespassing on HOA property without authorization." The officer's tone shifted completely. "Ma'am, this is Daniel Morrison. He's the senior compliance officer for the State Real Estate Commission." The color drained from her face. Everything had started simply 3 days earlier. I, Daniel Morrison, had inherited this lake cabin from my Uncle Robert. Needing a break from property dispute cases, I drove up for a quiet night. I arrived, settled in, and was asleep by 10 p.m. The aggressive pounding jolted me awake at 7 a.m. Linda Garrison was on my porch with a clipboard. "Who are you and what are you doing in this property?" "I'm Daniel Morrison. This is my cabin. I inherited it," I explained. She huffed. "I am Linda Garrison, president of the Pine Ridge Estates Homeowners Association. Any occupation requires HOA approval, payment of transfer fees, and a thorough background check." "I literally own this property," I replied. "I'm the property owner spending one night at my own cabin. I don't need HOA approval to sleep in my own bed." She jammed her foot in the closing door. "This isn't over. You'll be hearing from our HOA attorney, and if I see you here tonight, I'll call the police for trespassing." The rest of the day was peaceful. I met friendly neighbors who confirmed Linda's zealous reputation, tried to fine me once for having the wrong shade of brown on my deck stain. That evening, as I was settling in, I saw 2 sets of headlights coming up the drive, the police cars, bringing us back to the present moment. The lead officer handed back my ID. "Ma'am, can you explain exactly what crime you're reporting here?" "He's trespassing. This property requires HOA authorization for occupancy, and he doesn't have it," Linda insisted. "But he owns the property," the officer said patiently. "You can't trespass on your own property." The second officer interrupted. "You called 911 and reported a burglary in progress. Those are civil matters, ma'am, not criminal ones." "That won't be necessary, Mr. Morrison," the lead officer said to me. "We know who you are. My captain actually attended your seminar on property law compliance last spring." He turned back to Linda. "Ma'am, are you aware that filing a false police report is a crime?" Linda's mouth opened and closed. "Officers," I said calmly, "I'd like to file a formal complaint about this incident. I was awakened from sleep in my own property by police responding to a false burglary report." The lead officer pulled out his notebook. "Mr. Morrison, would you like to press charges for filing a false report?" Linda's face went from red to white. "You can't be serious. I'm the HOA president. I was protecting our community." The officer gave her a stern look. "Ma'am, I strongly suggest you familiarize yourself with actual property law before making any more emergency calls." The formal complaint was filed the next morning. Back at my office, I pulled the file on Pine Ridge Estates. Complaints about overreach, questionable fine structures, and improperly noticed meetings confirmed Linda's paper trail. I scheduled a formal audit. The audit revealed exactly what I expected: improper elections, missing financial disclosures, and a pattern of harassment. The State Real Estate Commission issued a formal notice of violation requiring immediate reforms. The final blow came 3 weeks later at the emergency HOA meeting. Word had spread about Linda's false police report and the state investigation. The vote to remove her from the board was unanimous, except for her own vote. I attended the meeting as both a homeowner and a state official. Watching Linda stand at the podium as the vote was read was almost painful. "This is illegal. You can't do this," she shouted. Security had to escort her out. The false report charge resulted in a $5,000 fine and 200 hours of community service. The HOA's insurance refused to cover her legal fees. 6 months later, I was assigned to create new state guidelines for HOA governance. The Morrison Protocols, as they became known, specifically addressed the abuse of power by board members. Linda Garrison's harassment had inadvertently led to stronger protections for homeowners across the state. Now, whenever I visit the cabin, I see Linda. She still walks her Pomeranian past my property, but she never makes eye contact, never stops to chat, and definitely never mentions HOA business. I sleep very well at the cabin these days, knowing that the woman who called 911 on me for sleeping in my own bed now lives in fear of her next HOA compliance review. That's priceless.